Welcome guys, we are doing another optics trade in the field. This time we are making the ultimate 8x42 binoculars buying guide. My name is Theodore.
My name is Gasper. So Theodore, please tell us where we are.
So we decided to do this test in nature, so we went around 10 kilometers away from our office in this bird sanctuary, and we thought that this is going to be the perfect place to do our test and our guide.
Okay, so what exactly are we doing here?
So we decided to test different 8x42 binoculars from different price classes and to see if there are really any significant differences between each price class, and if there are any significant binoculars inside of each price class that stand out. So we went here, we said, okay, we will test all the binoculars, we will choose which binoculars go into which group, to see what are the common group features, and then to see what are the differences between different price groups and what are the differences between different binoculars. And we did all of this to help people when they're deciding to buy their first binocular, or when they're already know that they will buy 8x42 binoculars, to make their purchase and their decisions easier. So that if you know, I would like to buy 8x42 binocular, we would wish you to help you to choose the right one for you. So which price class in this segment should you choose, and which binocular in specific price classes are those which really stand out.
Hello, I'm Polona.
I'm Andraž.
So first of all, Andraž, why did we pick this 8x42 configuration?
Well, the 8x42 configuration is basically the most common standard found on the market of binoculars. In almost every manufacturer's offer, we found 8x42. It's the one configuration that everyone makes. And this is because these are all-round binoculars. That means that you can use them for any type of observation. They have a significantly bigger field of view than those that have bigger magnification, and they also, almost all of them, offer the most that they can for the money.
And what would you say are some of the most basic features of those types?
Well, if we compare them to the 10x42 configuration, we already have a debate. You can click here and watch it. If I do a short recap, they have a bigger field of view than 8x42, and there are some other features, but you can find these on the video. We'll not waste time today here.
Mm-hmm. And many customers wonder, can these types of binoculars, can they be used in low light situations?
Yes, well, if we compare them again here to 10x42, they do have a bigger exit pupil, so they do perform better in low light than 10x42. Mm-hmm. We also have to take other things into account, such as coatings found on the prisms. Of course, the more expensive, some manufacturers have better coatings than others, and so on. But basically, they do not perform as good as 8x56, but they do perform better than 10x42, mm-hmm. because we have to take the exit pupil into account.
Can they be used as for stargazing, like astronomy?
Well, the 8x magnification is not the best for astronomy. We would suggest a bigger magnification for astronomy, because the 8x will not magnify the image enough for you to see the details, mm-hmm. as regards the astronomy applications.
But can they still be used as at least marine binoculars?
Well, here we have another problem. When you're using binoculars on a boat, for example, 10x magnification, 8x magnification, you can get seasick. The bigger the magnification, the greater the probability that you'll get seasick. So we have an optimal configuration for that, and that is a 7x magnification. Mm-hmm. Even 8x is perhaps enough, but we would prefer the 7x because it's the most optimal configuration. And I have to mention the prism type also while we're talking about this. The prism type mostly found in this category right now is a roof prism, and we have two types of roof prisms. We have Schmidt and Pecken prisms, which are found in almost in every binocular here on the table except for the Blaser. In Blaser we have the Abe Koenig prisms, which are they are more difficult to manufacture, they offer better light transmission rates and so on, but we almost have no photoprisms. On this desk we don't have any photoprism binoculars. Maybe there are some, but they're really rare.
What are the benefits of the roof prism system?
Well, the roof prism system, as you can see, the binoculars are more compact. With the photoprism you get a specific shape, like at an angle, and because of that photoprism binoculars are bigger, bulkier, and they do not go in every pocket, to be specific. So there are really a lot of binoculars on the market, and they can be found from, let's say, 100 euros all the way up to 2,500 euros, some even above that. And to make this test easier, we decided to form 4 distinct price classes all the way from 100 euros to 2,500. So first we have the entry-level binoculars that go from 100 euros to 400 euros. Then we have the middle class from 400 to 800 euros. Here we have upper class from 800 to around 1,600 euros. And then we have the top of the line, everything that's from, let's say, 2,400 euros and above.
Hello, my name is Pela. Theodor, please tell us, how was the testing done?
So, when we started to talk about this video and about this buying guide of 8x42 binoculars, we wanted to get into the skin of a novice user or someone who is looking to purchase their first pair of binoculars. So we said, okay, if we take our sales team and our marketing team from Optics Rate, it won't be really an unbiased test, because we all have really a lot of experience with binoculars, and when we take one binoculars in our hands, we already have some kind of picture about it, how good it will perform and so on. So we decided to take our whole team out, to take our girls from logistics, from bookkeeping, from all the departments of our firm, so that also the people who don't have so much experience with binoculars do the test. And we found 2 really interesting things. First of all, we found a lot of questions which experienced user would never ask, and they're still very important, because they tell us what is someone thinking who is buying the first pair of binoculars. And the second of all, we got the impressions of people who don't have any preferences for brands, any preferences for binoculars and so on. So we really truly get an honest opinion. And this was something what made this test, I would say, really unique and great.
What did we focus on during the test?
So we grouped all the binoculars in different price classes, and then we did the tests for each group, and then we did the comparisons between those groups. So the main parameters were optical performance, where we tested the central sharpness, edge sharpness, chromatic aberration, glare insight, and field of view. The second parameters was build quality. So we checked the build quality of different binoculars, and we compared the binoculars in each class and then the classes between each other. And then last but not least, we took into account everything what goes on with the binoculars and with their brands. So we would say like brands attributes. So the warranty, where are they made, so their origin, service, how is service provided, because with many of these really expensive binoculars this is important. If 12 years on after your purchase something happens, what can you do with the binoculars?
Yes.
And also the brand awareness for each of the brands on the table. This was also something what we took into account. So Andras, we will talk about different price classes, and I would suggest that we start with the lowest one, with the entry level, which starts at 100 euros and 400 euros. Tell us something what all the binoculars in this class have in common.
Yeah, so the binoculars that we have on this side of the desk are priced from 100 to 400 euros. They're all made in China. There are a lot of plastic parts, so in terms of build quality, they are not really high, like all natural, like all the binoculars in other classes.
On this side of the table.
On this side of the table, yeah. And what we have to note here is that there can be a huge difference between, I don't know, a binocular priced 100 euros and binocular priced 300 euros. Whereas if we look at higher price classes between 2,000 and 2,300 euros, there is really difficult to determine the
To be honest, when you look at 2,000 and 2,300 euros, it's almost no difference. But between 100 and 400 euros, it's a huge difference. Tell me something, the majority, you said that there is a lot of plastic parts and so on. What about the build type? They are all single bridge, I think. Is there any open bridge in this class?
No, there is no open bridge, meaning that you can have some problems holding them with one hand, even though they're usually lighter because of the plastic components and so on. But there is no open bridge here.
Okay.
This is.
And for the diopter setting, they all have the ring for the diopter on the side, yeah?
Yeah.
There is no one that would have a central diopter setting, yeah?
There is only on the right eyepiece.
The eyepieces in this class, they mostly only have two positions.
That's right.
Out and in, yeah?
Which is what some people might have problems with. So
True.
Sometimes you have to set the proper eye relief to see the whole image. Here, you'll just have two positions in most cases. This one has a bit more.
Well, I noticed when we tested, there is also that firmness of the eyepiece is not the best, which is expected in this price class. Yeah?
Of course. So when you press them against the face, sometimes the eyepieces will go in because they don't hold the position as good as binoculars from higher price classes.
Okay, so if we sum up, if you do a short summary, big differences between the cheap binoculars, let's say on that side of 100 euros, to those for 400 euros.
That's right.
A lot of things made out of plastic, very similar design for all of them. No open bridge, made in China. And I would say optically, all the way up to 200 euros, it's so-so. Then from 200 euros to 400 euros is, we would say the image quality comes to the level where we could say decent.
We now covered the first price class from 100 to 400 euros. Theodore, what are some of the characteristics of binoculars found in the price class from 400 to 800 euros?
Yeah, so if we could say this is already the middle class for most of the manufacturers, and what we notice in this class is that warranty periods are a little bit longer. With entry level, you have mostly 2 years warranty. With this 400 to 800 class, you already found binoculars in this class which have 10 years of warranty. You slowly find European brands like Steiner and Terra, even though Zeiss Terra is not made in Europe, it's made in China. But you slowly find binoculars which are already made in Europe or in Japan. So the build type is still usually the single bridge design, the central. So the handling is still not the best. But there are some instances like with Delta Optical. We have it here on the table somewhere. Yeah, this one. Which already has the open bridge, even in this 400 to 800 euros class. So the build quality gets a little bit better. We get a little bit more of metal. The eye cups usually have 3 or 4 positions already, and the differences are, at least in optical performance, are not that great anymore, or that big between a binocular for 400 euros and a binocular for 800 euros. So the differences become a little bit smaller. Compared to the entry level, where there is a huge difference between a 100 euros binocular and 400 euros binocular.
So if we describe it with a line, it goes like this.
Yeah.
It slowly steadies.
Yeah, it slowly steadies, but still, here you get better warranty, you get better optical performance, wider field of view, the sharpness is a little bit better. You get brands which are made in Europe, and so on. So
and usually you do get a little bit more accessories as well as with the entry class, right?
Yeah, better bags. You get additional accessories which you can buy. Let's say the additional straps for carrying, which are for better comfort and so on. So Andras, let's go to the next class, 800 euros to 1,500 euros. What are the main features of binoculars in this class?
Well, for this price class, we can say that it's an entry level to the premium class. Here we already find the Swarovski binoculars. Here we already find the Zeiss binoculars made in Germany, Leica binoculars, and so on. And what we get here is even a higher level of quality. We do get mostly aluminum, magnesium housings. So
Yeah.
with lower, it's mostly aluminum. Now we have magnesium housings.
Yeah, it goes like this. It goes in the entry level, you have mostly plastic housing, aluminum housing in the 400 to 800 euros, 800 to 1,500 euros, you already get magnesium housings. Yeah.
Some of them come with multiple positions for the eye cups, which means that you can set the eye relief nicely
Properly.
for your eyes properly. Some of them already come with the central diopter setting, no longer limited to the right eyepiece. And of course, on the optical level, they are also gain in performance when compared to the lower class.
I think that some of these binoculars, especially SLC, Trinovid, the Conquest HD, you really get a sense of a high quality optical instrument. Before that class, this is something what you're not able to see, but here you're able to grasp the idea of what is optical performance or premium optical performance. And this is something what I think is here in this class, it's really interesting, because this is the first time when you're able to see really that apparent field of views become really bigger, the actual field of views become bigger, the contrast becomes much more apparent, and so on. So this is somewhere where you touch the surface of premium optical performance.
They're also all made in Europe mostly. So we
Yeah.
have Swarovski made in Austria, Zeiss made in Germany, Leica is made in Portugal.
Yeah, but still.
But still, so it's limited to the European countries. And you also get them nicely packed. You get nice bags. It's all about even about the experience of opening the box. So you
sure.
get a Swarovski nicely packed, nice images, beautiful bags, all together in colors and so on.
And many different accessories which you can buy afterwards.
Afterwards,
So
yeah.
a lot of different things. The warranty is mostly 10 years. The exception is Meopta, which is 30 years.
That's right.
Really something really special. And they are still all single bridge. So the open bridge is still not so common in this class. And I'm thinking now if you forgot something, I think you covered
This is
most
for
of it.
someone who wants to have binoculars for a longer period of time and would like to buy safe. So
Yeah.
with these binoculars, you also buy safety that they will still work after years to come, right?
Yeah, and this is something also what happens in this class. When you buy a Swarovski or Leica or Zeiss or Meopta, even if you ran out of warranty after 10 years, 15 years and so on, they will still provide service. This is something what is impossible to achieve or to expect from Chinese or Japanese binoculars. Because when something goes wrong with a binocular for 400 euros, let's say you drop it on a ground or something like that, and you damage the binoculars, there is no service. The only way out is to buy a new pair of binoculars. With all of these binoculars, you're able to send them back to the factory, and even after 20 years, they will service the binoculars for you, and you will get back your own binoculars, and they will still work again.
Services in Europe, so
Yeah, so it's fast, it's easy, and also what you're not getting with other classes. Let's say you wear out the rubber eye cups for all of these binoculars. You just go to a shop, or you come to us, to Optic Straight, and we will give you a new one. So those small things which you get when you buy, let's say, a Swarovski or Leica or Zeiss, this is something what you're not getting in lower classes. So when you wear out the eye cups with most of other binoculars, it's again, you have to buy a new pair. With this class, you already are able to get the spare parts, in most cases even for free.
And not to mention that with Swarovski, Leica and Zeiss and similar companies, you're also buying a piece of history.
True.
These are
A whole
companies that
story.
have been around for long, so you know that they'll honor the warranty terms
Yeah.
because they'll be around for probably long periods to come.
A lot of companies in this class are already more than 100 years old or something like that, so
Yeah,
they will
true.
stick around. Yeah.
We've now come to the top of the line, so we have binoculars priced 1,500 euros and above at the end of our desk on the left, on my left. So what are some of their characteristics? Is there a huge improvement over the price class that we just discussed?
Well, definitely this. First of all, we said from 1,500 euros above, but in reality most of them start at 2,000 euros and above. In this class, we mostly see only European brands and only the best brands. There was a long time when there was only Leica Zeiss and Swarovski in this class. Now Blaser came also to this table, or how to say, to this class. Nikon is trying from time to time, and there are also some other brands which are a little bit smaller, and they try to make a binoculars for 2,500 euros from time to time, but they usually don't succeed. So the only brands which really stay here are Leica, Zeiss and Swarovski, and now Blaser. So what is common with them? Almost all of them have open bridge design, only the best materials, usually self-lubricating focusing mechanisms, so they work at all the temperatures and different temperatures, magnesium housings, really advanced eye cups which offer multiple positions and always a great support so they don't move, and really premium build quality. This is one part of the story. The second part of the story is premium optical performance. So the widest field of view, let's say Zeiss SF is really known for this. It's like, I think, 148 meters of field of view. Noctivite is also great in this respect. So only the best technologies.
You mentioned that some of them feature the open bridge construction. How do you benefit from it?
So you benefit because it's much easier to handle it with one hand. You can focus with one hand, you can hold it with one hand, you can use it with one hand. It's really much easier.
Zeiss, I think, really has a nice gap that you can put 3 fingers.
They even have a special name for this technology, that you're able to do everything with one hand and do this smart focus, or I forgot the name, but it's really clever and well made. But to be honest, also the Swarovski EL, it's very similar. Maybe the position of the finger for the focusing is not as great as on the Zeiss, but still good. And also the Leica Noctivite is very similar.
Would you say that there is a huge difference optically, let's say, between EL and between SLC?
It depends from which side you look on. If you look at SLC and something from this class, the difference is really huge.
You notice it at
immediately.
First view, yeah.
However, if you look at the SLC and the EL, the difference is, but a little bit smaller. With EL, okay, they have a smart vision technology, so you have a flat field of view, which some people like, some people don't like. So this is the huge debate always, either Noctivite, Victory SF or EL. This is something what we are not able to give a definitive answer here and now regarding this topic, which one is the best among those 3.
Of course.
But you see the difference, but it's not so huge, like if you compare with lower classes. But this is also normal, because to gain those last 10% of optical performance, it's really hard and very expensive. This is the reason why there is a 1,000 euros of difference between SLC and the EL, for those last 10% of difference. But the difference is here. So for someone who is searching for binoculars which are without any compromises, he has to go into this class, into the highest class and the best class.
And for someone who likes customizable binoculars, you can...
The new Ultravids.
Yeah, so you can see that they're really beautifully done.
Yeah, and you can choose, I think, the colors, and there are different special editions. I know that I think there was only a couple of hundreds of those made and so on. This is also something what you gain in this class, to buy something really unique and still with a really perfect optical performance.
What about the resale value?
They hold the resale value much better than other classes. This is normal. I would say maybe this class between 800 and 1,500 euros holds the resale value the best, but also the highest class also holds the resale value well, while the entry level, they usually don't even sell when they're used anymore. People just, for 200, 300 euros, people buy new binoculars. They don't buy used one. I would mention the Blaser as a newcomer in this class. This is, I would say, the only binoculars which come into the top class in the last 10 years or something like that. As you can see, it doesn't have the open bridge, which is a shame, but on the other side, it does feature aberconic prisms, which give him a little bit better low light performance.
And I've heard that these prisms are really difficult to manufacture, which is
why
expensive. They're not in the offer of every manufacturer out there.
No, from all the manufacturers, only Zeiss produces them since ever, but not on those Victory SF. They have the Victory HT binoculars with the aberconic prisms, and now Blaser is also producing them, and Noblex is also producing them, and also Swarovski in their SLC 8x56. Because with 8x56, it's normal to take aberconic prisms which are longer and heavier than Schmidt and Pehan, because you already have a really big binoculars.
So you're already,
lenses.
When you're buying one, you're expecting bulky binoculars.
Yeah. With 8x42 it's quite uncommon to use aberconic prisms because these are not binoculars for low light, so even if you achieve best possible light transmission, people will still buy 8x56.
Yeah. So what do you gain with each price class?
Okay, with an entry-level price class, you gain a lot if you go on the upper level or the upper extreme of the class itself. So you gain a lot if you buy binoculars for 350 euros, 400 euros, not 100. Even though somebody will say there are many binoculars below 100 euros. But I think that the quality and optical performance of those is really, really low. It's even on the level where you say, if you like your eyes and if you wouldn't want to damage your eyes, don't buy binoculars for 20 euros. Simple as that. So with first class, you gain binoculars which are meant for serious use. So they're not toys, and this is the reason why they cost more than 100 euros. And you gain a lot if you buy something for 300 to 400 euros instead of something for 100 or 200 euros. This is the first thing. If you go into the second class, 400 to 800 euros, the first thing what you get is much better build quality. So nicer, more metal used in the housing and so on, better eyepieces, better optical performance, and this is the first class where you gain longer warranty periods. So instead of 2 years, you usually get 5 or 10 years. If you go to the 800 euros to 1500 euros class, you gain optical performance on a European level. You gain European brands with European servicing. That means you buy binoculars which have a service in Europe, and even if you damage them by your fault, you're still able to repair them. You gain much better quality of housings. Some of these binoculars in a class around 1000 euros or 1400 euros already offer magnesium housing.
This is where the resale value also begins, right?
Yeah. And it begins where you buy a really well-known brands, where you buy Swarovski, Zeiss, Leica, the best Steiners, Meopta, Kales, and so on. So this is the class where you get European premium quality, the entry level into the European premium quality. And then if you go from 1500 euros onwards, you basically buy binoculars which are already on a quality level without any compromises. So top quality level. It's also very small differences between different brands, and in quality terms they all came to the maximum what is able to achieve or what is feasible. You gain open bridge design on almost all of them. You gain really good eye cups with multiple positions, and really the best optical performance.
And the accessories that come with the product are also on a higher level as regards quality, right?
High quality. And you gain the widest field of view, the best sharpness, you gain the highest light transmission rate, and so on. Some binoculars in this class even have 95% of light transmission rate. In this class we are talking about 80, 85, so a huge difference.
So if you don't want any compromises, you go for the top of the line.
Yeah.
Right
if
here.
you want to have a premium optical performance for, I would say, acceptable price, you go into this class. Zeiss Conquest HD, SLC, Trinovit. If you're buying decent binoculars made in Japan with a decent warranty period, but still don't want to spend a lot of money, you go into this class between 400 and 800 euros. And if you're buying binoculars just to have them, and if you're not a heavy user, you buy something in this class from 100
So
to
maybe
400
also
euros.
if you're a beginner in this field.
Or if you're a beginner. Yeah, if you're a beginner, it's really smart to start somewhere here, and then you see if you really are drawn into using them each day and so on, and then you see if you need something better, and then you go to the other classes. So we didn't do testings in a way that now we would say, okay, these are the losers and those are the winners. But if you check the blog post, which is going to be made on this video and together with this video, you will see all the points taken for all the testings, and you will see about each binocular an impression about it. But we can still say which binoculars in which group did prevail. Now in 2019, I presume we will do this similar video also a couple of years
to come.
Yeah, in 2 years to come.
Yeah.
So, Andras, let's start in the entry level. Which were the binoculars which our team, when we summed up all the points and so on, which were those which stand out?
In the entry level, we have a tie between Nikon Pro Staff 7 and between Vortex Diamondback 8x42.
Yeah, it was a tie in optical performance, but all our guys from our team also said that the build quality of Vortex is a little bit better, and normally the warranty is much better, the VIP warranty. But
Vortex,
optically, they were
pretty much on the same level.
So next class was 400 to 800 euros. Which were those two binoculars which stand out here?
Well, the ones that stand out, the first one is the brand new binocular from GPO.
German Precision Optics, eh?
Yeah, and it really, not only did it astound us with its optical performance, also in terms of build quality, which I would say resembles binoculars from higher price class. Yeah. Really well made, really good optics for this price. And I think it's priced around 450 euros, maybe 500
euros.
500, yeah. And the second binoculars were Vortex Viper HD. This was no surprise because we already tested them many times and know that they're optically really good. They're also really good in terms of build quality, and of course the Vortex VIP warranty terms as well.
They were really close. For me, it was quite interesting to see all the results from those team members from our company which don't handle binoculars or any optics each day, because we know we have sales team and marketing team which always works with binoculars, and then we have a lot of other people which make this company function, which don't really work with optics on a daily basis. And they also had those two, they really had a tie, which one is better or not. Then when we came to the class of 800 to 1500, who did stand out?
Well, definitely the Swarovski SLC, because when you look through it, the field of view is just so big. There are no black lines, no tunnel vision.
The apparent field of view
is amazing. So you always say wow when you look through them. So this is, I think, and even the optical performance when you look through it after, for I'd say 30 seconds, 1 minute, they're really good optically.
Yeah, in this class they're really good, but it's also true that they are the most expensive in this class.
They are around 1,500 euros. So
even more, yeah. The street price is around 1,500 euros. List price is even 1,600 euros or something like that. So to be fair, we also have to say that the Conquest HD got really good marks also.
It did.
In this class, and it's almost 500 euros cheaper. So in this class we have a really big price difference. And those two were the winners. So the SLC by far, and then the HD, especially when the price is taken into consideration, because it's roughly around 1,000 euros. And then we come to the top class.
In the top class we have the great trio, or how to call them. We have the Swarovski EL, the Zeiss Victory SF, and the Noctivid. And it's really hard to debate over which one is the best, because they're all so great that the differences are so minimal. Yeah.
They are really all perfect almost.
Yes, maybe the brand plays a huge role here. Who prefers which brand? So if someone is a fan of Swarovski, he will say, okay, Swarovski are better.
I think that there are small differences. I would say
very small.
SF has a really huge field of view, the biggest among all of them.
And it has a nice open bridge.
Yeah.
Really huge gap
then
between.
Noctivid, the build quality, astonishing, and the colors.
And the eyepieces as well.
And the eyepieces, really great. And then the EL, the Smarter Vision technology. Those who like this flat field of view, they're always astonished by the EL. But still, here it's a matter of personal taste. It's not a matter of performance, because they're all on the highest possible level of performance. For me, what was interesting is that Blaser isn't far behind them. I would say it's really, even though it's a completely newcomer, it's really close by. This was something what was a surprise, I would say, on this test. So I think we covered most of those who stand out. In our blog post you will see even more data about this test and general guidelines, what to buy and why to buy.